All your favorite wrestling shows rolled into one. Welcome to the We Book It Podcast. Let's start the show.
Welcome in, everybody, to the All Elite recap episode. Shout out to my boy Coach for doing the Who's Next with NXT last night for me while I was spending some well-deserved quality time with the fam bam. Now, for tonight, we are talking about the All Elite recap. We're talking about AEW Dynamite. Guys, listen, the next big event is All In, and it happens on August 30th in London. We are just riding off the heels of AEW Redemption. So Sunday's show saw Maya World win the TBS title, Andrade clinch the national championship, and Willow Nightingale claim her first world title. We also saw Will Ospreay choose his principles over aligning with the Death Riders, but that didn't stop Kenny Omega from hitting a one-winged angel on him. This week's Dynamite focused on the fallout of the pay-per-view and began to build towards Wembley Stadium. So let's take a look at Wednesday's show. So first and foremost, a Death Rider no more. So after a brief rundown from Excalibur, we got a video recapping what happened in the main event of Redemption, with Will Ospreay choosing not to attack Kenny Omega. It included footage of the Death Riders watching as Kenny Omega took Ospreay out at the end. Renee tried to interview Billy Goat backstage, but he ended up seeing the Death Riders. Ospreay took out Daniel Garcia, but Jon Moxley stopped Pac from retaliating. Ospreay handed him back his Death Rider patch and said he's out. They allowed Ospreay to pass, but then Adam Page showed up. Hangman said he's there for Will if he needs anything, but Ospreay said he needs to do this on his own. When he went back to the arena, Jack Perry made his entrance for the national championship match. This was a different kind of opening segment for AEW than what they usually do, but it definitely helped push the story forward. It's going to be interesting to see where Ospreay goes from here now that he has no friends and no help going into All In. So we'll go to the first match of the night, Andrade versus Nick Wayne versus Jack Perry for the national championship. So Andrade El Idolo was looking to celebrate his big win at Redemption with his first successful title defense against Jack Perry and Nick Wayne. Jungle Jack stuck Idolo with a super kick before trying to roll up Wayne. Once Andrade recovered, he managed to hit a superplex on both opponents at the same time. After Perry and Wayne were taken out at ringside, El Idolo posed for a selfie with a fan. Andrade is not known for as a powerhouse, but he had a big power advantage over Perry and Wayne. So even though he had two opponents, he still felt like he was firmly in charge of this match all night long. All three guys brought something different to this match. Wayne provided most of the high-flying antics, but El Idolo and Perry contributed some too. They put together a fun three-way that had the crowd chanting and cheering almost the whole entire time. In fact, this was one of the best bouts Perry and Wayne have had in a long time. The feud between Wayne and Perry that has been developing recently was on full display, and their rivalry may have distracted them from the task at hand. And then, of course, a hot crowd helped add the excitement to all three competitors. And then, of course, Andrade was able to score the win in the end to retain, but all three guys looked incredible in this match. So they went all out for this one. This is by far probably match of the night, if you ask me. Next up, we look at Brian Cage, Jack Doyle, and Kyle Fletcher versus Brodito and Mike Bailey. So Brian Cage, Jack Doyle, and Kyle Fletcher teamed up to take on Brody King, Bandito, and Mike Bailey in a trios bout. Speedball is the number one contender for Fletcher's title, so they started for their teams, but Kyle said he wanted to face Brody instead, so Bailey tagged in the big man. King took him down with a shoulder tackle before being cornered by the DCF. The baby faces had a long sequence controlling the heels, but it ended kind of awkwardly. You could tell Bailey and Bandito expected Doyle and Cage to do one thing to set up a move, but it never actually happened. So they just tried to move on from that planned spot in the match. Things picked up a lot after the commercial break. Speedball and Fletcher had a fantastic exchange that was one of the biggest highlights of the match. Bailey scored the win for his team by pinning Doyle. So the Brawling Birds gave a quick interview backstage after this match. We also got a quick interview with the Don Callis family. Fletcher and Kevin Knight had more tension between them two. And then, of course, Doyle and Cage suplexing King was a good spot. But obviously, Mike Bailey was the star of this match by far. Next up, we got Maya World versus Persephone. So just days after winning the TBS title from Hikaru Shida, Maya World defended the belt against current CMLL champion Persephone. They started off with a series of counters and reversals. They kept things technical and didn't rely too much on strikes right away. Both women got a near fall before they started picking up the pace. Maya had the upper hand for a bit, but Persephone took control by dropping her into her face onto the apron right before the break. This match started out trying to be flashy, but it turned into a hard-fought contest between two women who are trying to make a name for themselves in this company. It had a couple of moments that could have looked better, but the majority of the match there was pretty solid. It looked like Maya was about to win when Shida showed up. She slid her kendo stick to Persephone, but Chris Statlander arrived to take it away from her. Maya was able to win with a bridging suplex finisher. We also had Renee, who hosted an interview with the Young Bucks and Christian Cage and Adam Copeland backstage. Funny segment. Obviously, these guys are headed towards a tag team match at All In. I do expect the Bucks to regain the AEW World Tag Team titles at All In, but that's just me. Next up, we celebrate the new women's world champion, Willow Nightingale. So Renee was in the ring to welcome Willow Nightingale to the ring to celebrate winning the world championship from Thekla at Redemption. She was met with chants of "You deserve it" as the interview began. Willow was brought to tears by the support from the crowd. It was a very genuine reaction to an overwhelming moment for her. She said she is living her dream and is thankful for everyone who has stuck with her on this journey. She thanked her mom and gave an inspirational speech to everyone watching at home, which was what was the most Willow thing to do. Mercedes Moné then came out to remind her that she has a title shot waiting at All In and wanted the contract signed right now. Willow was happy to do it, but Mercedes shoved it in her face to show disrespect. The history between these two makes this feud interesting already, but this segment was a great way to kickstart this next chapter for these two. Willow was the ultimate babyface, and Mercedes has always been a great heel, so this worked perfectly. Divine Dominion showed up to help Mercedes attack the new champion, and then Jamie Hayter and Alex Windsor came out to drive them off. So, of course, we'll probably either see on Collision or maybe next week on Dynamite the trios tag match between these two teams. So expect to see that one here next soon. Next up, we had Jon Moxley versus Commander in a match. So the third title match on the card featured Jon Moxley defending the Continental Championship against Commander. This was a huge clash of different styles. Moxley favors more of a grounded style, while Commander is one of the most lauded high flyers in the company. Commander was good technically, has good technical ability too, so he tried to wrestle Mox at first, but he eventually had to rely more on his speed and agility once he realized he was outmatched. Unfortunately for Commander, the outcome of this match was never in any doubt. Jon Moxley was not going to lose his belt, and he did end up winning. He made him tap out with the sleeper hold. So Moxley is deceptively big. He looked huge next to Commander. Mox turned Commander inside out with the chop. Commander's balance is second to none. He makes everything he does look super easy. So last but not least, guys, your main event and match of the evening, the Conglomeration versus the Demand. So Orange Cassidy, Roderick Strong, and Kyle O'Reilly put the trios championships on the line against Ricochet, Bishop Khan, and Toa Leona. All 6 men started fighting before the bell when Khan ran to the ring and to start brawling with Strong. Leona and OC were the legal men when the match officially got underway. Now, if you've been watching AEW for a while, you already know how good all 6 of these men are, so it's not going to surprise anyone to hear this was an entertaining contest. Every competitor had their own moments to shine, but both teams displayed some great chemistry with double and even triple team moves. The Lethal Twist came out and interfered to attack the conglomeration, allowing Ricochet to hit the OC with his finisher to get the victory and win the trios titles. Brody King failed to make the save, but Adam Page came out with a steel chair wrapped in barbed wire to clear the ring. The Demand defeated the conglomeration to win the trios titles. The show closed with Kenny Omega coming out to talk about what happened at Redemption. Before he could say much, Will Ospreay's music hit. Omega said he cares about Ospreay, but he deserved what happened to him at Redemption because he warned him about the Death Rider several times. They went back and forth until Omega slapped Ospreay in the face several times. Ospreay slapped him back and almost hit the hidden blade to make a point. And this was an excellent way to close out Dynamite as this closed the show. Again, building towards a strong card at All In for these guys in London. That card is going to be legit, and I'm excited for that card. We're going to probably put the Book It World title on the line just for that All In card because it is AEW's version of WrestleMania, so we're excited about that. Make sure that you guys like, share, and subscribe so that you never miss any of the moments right here on the We Book It Network. And until Friday, that's right, Friday for the SmackDown Lowdown. And then there will be no show this coming Sunday because obviously it's SummerSlam weekend. So we will either do a best of or we will have a superstar spotlight moment or something like that. But there will be no actual show. So appreciate you guys so much. Until next time, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe and keep those Book It pencils sharp and keep on booking.